The latest iPad software is about to launch, but what does it mean for the little iPad mini? Well, quite a lot, as it turns out. I've been testing out the beta version of iPadOS26 for a couple of weeks now, and today I just got the 4th edition in fact, and I've been pleasantly surprised with the liquid glass toting overhaul of the latest iPad software. Testing it out alongside iOS 26 on my iPhone, it's been really cool to see how Apple are working on bringing a lot of these systems even closer together. But like me, you may have been wondering what this would do in terms of the overall experience on the little iPad mini. With such a small display, would this really make a difference to my favourite iPad? In this video, we're going to take a look at how these new features translate to the iPad mini. Before we get into it, it's worth noting that iPadOS 26 won't be released as a general upgrade until the autumn, so let's just assume that some of the things I'm going to say in this video may change between now and then. But broadly, I've got to say this new iPad release has been pretty stable so far, much more stable than the phone software in fact, so it all bodes pretty well. Now, first of all, I've seen a few comments on other videos saying that Stage Manager only works on the larger iPads and not on iPad mini, and yeah, that's not true. If you like this feature, it is there. It's hidden away here in the settings and display menu, and once you switch it on, it works just like it does on the other iPads. These new animations are also pretty slick too. The key thing is that you can't have the new windowed apps featured live at the same time as Stage Manager. It's a choice of one or the other, not both. And while we're talking about displays, I should add that whilst there's tons of new features here to show you for iPad mini, one of the main things you're still not getting with iPad mini is the extended display feature that comes with the iPad Air and iPad Pro models. Now, I know a lot of mini fans are crying out for this, but Apple tells us that it's restricted to M series models only. Next up, there's the multitasking floating windows feature that was heavily showcased at WWDC. This works in both portrait mode and landscape mode. Let me show you. So if you're in portrait mode, you can resize any app like this by grabbing the edge and then kind of grabbing it and throwing it over this way, and it'll snap to the left of the screen. Same over here like this. Pretty nice, eh? And if you've ever yearned to have YouTube open on the top of your screen and Notes open on the bottom, well, yeah, you can do that now. And of course, this works really well in landscape mode too. Whilst split screen mode has gone, this is basically kind of the same thing, which I really like. However, for those of you who like the slide over feature, that is completely gone with iPadOS 26. I couldn't find any way to get that back. Now, you might be wondering, how many windows can you feasibly use on this 8-inch display? Well, it's more than you think. In fact, if you click and hold on these colored buttons here, you get these little sections where you can see it says move and resize, or fill and arrange. So you can just get the iPad to build a pretty cool 4x4 option, which works with most apps in both portrait and landscape modes. It doesn't always work perfectly. In fact, it's often better in portrait mode, but I really like the simplicity of this way of working rather than having to painstakingly drag everything into position to be just the way you want it. So although you can just carry on sticking apps on top of each other if you're a crazy person and you just want to watch the world burn, I managed to get to 6 on screen at any one time before it was starting to make me feel a bit twitchy. I think most normal people will find that about 3 apps all sandwiched together like this is about the limit on the iPad mini. And by the way, these are all live too, so I can scroll through photos with one hand while scrubbing my YouTube timeline for awesome new content with the other. Kind of makes me feel like I'm DJing on my iPad. By the way, if you like this wallpaper, it's part of my latest pack, which is called Haze. You can grab it at the link below, or pick up over 200 of my designs in one swoop with my big wallpaper bundle. Another thing you might be wondering about is how the new window buttons work, especially when you're using your iPad like this. Well, actually, it's pretty intuitive. Even when all your apps are squished together like this, you can just tap on the buttons and they expand, so it's easy to select which one you want. If you've got quite chunky fingers, you might want to think about doing this with an Apple Pencil so that you get more precision, but yeah, these are a really welcome addition and they work really well in practice. You know what else goes weirdly well with an iPad mini? It's an app that lets you teleport anywhere in the world. Let me explain. You know how Dr. Strange can kind of wave his fingers and make those magic portals appear and people can travel anywhere they want? That's pretty much how a VPN works, but it lets you teleport your favorite device instead. Well, my VPN of choice is by Surfshark, who are sponsoring this video. With Surfshark, you get access to over 3,000 servers in over 100 locations, so you can just click a button and teleport your device to basically be in Australia, which unlocks tons more Netflix films and shows than you're probably currently seeing, or you can teleport over to this place and instantly get massive savings on flights and hotels. The internet thinks you're there, but you're really here. Pretty sure even Doctor Strange can't do that.
Ow.
Surfshark VPN also keeps you protected on sketchy Wi-Fi, which is basically every airport, coffee shop, and hotel you've ever visited. If you're on free Wi-Fi without a VPN, you're basically allowing anyone to see what you get up to online. And yeah, even in that private browser window that we both know you're using. I work with a team at Surfshark to bring you an extra 4 months, and they even offer a 30-day money-back guarantee. So, what are you waiting for? Scan the code over here or my link down below to get your exclusive discount and become the master of the mystic arts of internet teleportation. Right, let's take a look at some more new features that will be coming to the Mini when iPadOS 26 comes along. And we should probably talk about the new liquid glass design. It's nowhere near as transparent as it was when Apple showed us the preview. It's more like a kind of frosted glass effect now. I actually don't mind it. On the other hand, I'm really not a massive fan of the new fully clear custom home screen that you can set up. The light mode version looks a bit better to me than the darker version, I guess, but overall, that is not for me. The lock screen gets some upgrades too, so you can resize the time and also put a nice 3D effect on some pictures so they kind of move with your iPad. It's like one of those magic eye paintings from the 90s. There's also the new menu bar, which kind of freaked me out the first time I saw it. Seeing a menu bar on an iPad initially feels a bit wrong, and in certain apps like, well, basically anything that isn't an Apple native app, it often doesn't make sense because the developers haven't added any items into those menus yet. But in apps like Apple Notes, actually it is kind of useful. It is, however, quite tricky to activate on the iPad mini without moving things around. You kind of have to swipe down from the top of the screen to access it. So I tend to just use the Apple Pencil, and if you've got the Pro Edition, the hover feature is really well implemented here to let you select and scroll through and pick your options without ever touching the screen. Next up, we have the Files app, which I'm pleased to say is much improved. And because we can now put folders down in the dock, the obvious one to stick is your Downloads folder, because it really does help and make things feel a lot more Mac-like. Unless you missed the memo, WhatsApp also works for iPad, so often I just have both apps open like this and drag files into chats. It's really easy if you want to share PDFs or anything else at all that might be living in your files. I actually don't think I've ever used the Files app as much as this, so it's definitely a good set of upgrades that you're going to get here. Another new app for iPadOS 26 is the Preview app, which is kind of part of the Files app, but for some reason it's a standalone app that you'll see when you upgrade. Anyway, this just makes it super easy to do things like annotate PDFs, crop images down, or in my case, I often use it to quickly resize a large image file to make it easy to send over to someone. It's pretty cool. Audio switching is another thing, so at the moment, if I'm recording audio straight to my iPad, it sounds like this, which is okay, but not brilliant. Now I can plug in a little wireless mic like this Lark A1 from Holyland, and then the iPad will let me pick that as my microphone option. I think this sounds much better already, as you can tell from this clip. Or if I want to be really extra, maybe I'm recording a voiceover or a podcast perhaps, I can plug in this Rode pod mic and add some voice isolation, and this is sounding pretty crispy. Pretty nice, eh? And what else is there? Well, you can customize chats in messages now and also add polls and custom backgrounds. There are a bunch of built-in backgrounds that you can pick from. These moving skies are actually pretty cool. Now, obviously, you can also use Apple Intelligence to build your own if you want to, or you can pick from your photo library instead. You can have a different background for different message threads, but when you have those threads selected, it affects the whole messages experience, and I found that a bit distracting if you're hopping between different threads. Also, there's now a phone app that will come to your iPad. If you don't have a cellular iPad model, you're going to need to tether an iPhone nearby for this to work. But yeah, if you want to use your iPad as a phone for calls that aren't FaceTime audio or video, that's a thing now. Phone app brings you new features like call screening and also the new hold assist feature. That's a pretty clever little innovation where if you're ever placed on hold, rather than having to sit listening to some terrible hold music or an automated message telling you how important your call is, it stays on the line for you, listens for when a real human picks up, and then lets you know it's time to return to the call. It also supports live translation, which is pretty cool, even though I didn't have any friends that I could test this out on. Another thing I wanted to touch on was the new Games app, which replaces Game Center. This brings a kind of console home screen feel to your device. The general idea is that it makes it easy to access games that you might already have access to via Apple Arcade, or you might have already bought in the App Store. And if you've currently got a few games on the go, you can easily jump straight back into them from the Games app. It's a bit like how Netflix works with shows that you're currently watching. Plus you can connect to your contacts and challenge them to play together directly in the app. And then for those of you who enjoyed using the Journal app on iPhone, it's finally available on iPad. And I must admit, this app works so much better in iPadOS, both as a way to read through your entries and also as a great way to capture new ones, especially handwritten journals. As you can see, I've been quite enjoying capturing examples of my 4-year-old's drawings this way. Okay, let's be honest, that's actually one of mine. In fact, I like this iPad version of the app so much, I've slowly been moving over several thousand journal entries from day one. So day one offers a bunch of export features, but the Journal app doesn't really offer many great ways to import other than via the share sheets. So that's not ideal when I have literally thousands of entries all tagged with locations, some with pictures, videos, and audio recordings too. If anybody has found a clever way to bulk export from day one into Journal, maybe using shortcuts or similar, just let me know and I will send you something awesome as a thank you. Okay folks, I hope that gave you a nice taster of all the cool things that are coming to your iPad mini experience later this year in iPadOS 26. Which ones are you most excited to try out? Let me know down in the comments. And if you're wondering what you can do with your iPad mini right now, you'll probably love this video over here. See you next time.